Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, you can't stop thinking about someone? You try to forget him. You occupy your mind with other things, but his image comes back again and again. For what? Is it a simple attachment, an emotional need, or is it a sign from God? Love, attachment, desire. These emotions are powerful. They can inspire us, elevate us, but also consume us. Are they a blessing or a distraction? A divine gift or an ordeal intended to test our faith? It's okay to want someone. After all, God created souls in pairs, and some connections are deeper than we can explain. But how can we know if this desire is a call to be patient, a reminder to let go, or a message from God to show us a specific path? Does God want you to continue to hope, or is He trying to teach you that some things should be left in His hands? Before understanding what God wants, let's ask ourselves an essential question. Why do we desire a person so deeply? Why do we desire a person so deeply? Love and attachment are not just passing feelings. They are inscribed in us, both biologically and spiritually. From a biological perspective, attachment is a natural response. Our brains release hormones like oxytocin and dopamine, which connect us to people who give us happiness and comfort. It's an essential mechanism for human survival. We need connections to feel safe and fulfilled. But beyond the body, there is the soul. Our desire for someone is often deeper than we can explain. The prophet said, "Souls are like soldiers lined up. Those who recognize each other assemble, and those who do not know each other push each other away." Sahih Muslim 2638. This means that some bonds are not only physical, but spiritual. When we feel a deep attraction to someone, it may not simply be a matter of emotion, but a soul-to-soul recognition. But is this proof that this person is made for you? Not necessarily. A strong bond doesn't always mean a person is destined to stay in your life. Sometimes, Allah attaches us to someone to teach us a lesson, to guide us towards a better version of ourselves, or to test us to see if we put our desire before Him. So how do you know? Is this desire a sign from Allah or just a test to test your patience? This is what we will see in the next part. Is this desire a sign from God or a test? When we feel a deep attachment to someone, it's natural to wonder, does Allah want this person to stay in my life, or is this a test meant to test my heart? Love and attachment are not always blessings. Sometimes these are trials. Allah often tests His servants through the things they love most. The perfect example is that of Professor Ibrahim, peace be upon him. He loved his son Ismail deeply, but Allah asked him to sacrifice him, an ultimate test of faith. For what? To see if Ibrahim's love for his son surpassed his love and submission to God. And when his son was old enough to accompany him, he said, "O my son, I see myself in a dream sacrificing you. So see what you think." He said, "O my dear father, do what you are commanded. You will find me, Allah willing, among the enduring." Surah 37, 102. Eventually, Allah replaced this sacrifice with a sheep, proving that Ibrahim had passed his test by placing God above all else. What if your attachment to this person was a similar test? Does God want to see if your love for this person exceeds your love for Him? Healthy love or toxic obsession? A desire that comes from Allah bring inner peace and bring you closer to Him. An attachment that is a test consumes you, makes you anxious, and distances you from God. Ask yourself these questions. Does this attachment bring me closer or further away from Allah? Do I find peace in this relationship, or am I constantly in inner conflict? Do I idealize this person to the point of making them a greater priority than Allah? If this love pushes you towards forgetting God, towards anxiety and obsession, so perhaps it is a test and not a divine sign. One of the biggest signs that this person plays a role in your destiny is when their name constantly comes up in your prayers. This is what we will see in the next part, when your prayers are filled with His name. Have you noticed that no matter how hard you try to forget it, This person keeps coming back in your du'as. Whether consciously or unconsciously, his name appears in your supplications. For what? Islam teaches us that when we sincerely pray for something or someone, it can mean three things. 1. It is good for us, and Allah will grant it to us at the right time. 2. It is a test to see if we are patient and rely on Him. 3. It is not good for us, and Allah protects us by delaying or preventing its fulfillment. And your Lord said, "Call upon me, and I will hear you." Surah 40:60. But sometimes Allah does not answer our prayers immediately. For what? Is it a delay, or is it a protection? The istikhara prayer. Ask God to guide your heart. When we are confused about a relationship, the Prophet taught us to pray the istikhara prayer, which is a sincere request to Allah to guide us towards what is best for us. The supplication of the istikhara is clear. O Allah, if this thing is good for me in my religion, my present life and my future, then make it easy for me and bless me in it. But if it is bad for me, take it away from me and keep me away from it, and decree for me what is good wherever it is, and make me satisfied with it. If, after this prayer, you feel peace and ease, then Allah guides you to this person. If, on the contrary, obstacles appear and confusion grows, this may be a sign that this relationship is not meant for you. Waiting for a response. Test or protection. If Allah delays the answering of your dua on this person, ask yourself these questions. Does this waiting make me more patient and closer to Allah? Do I have faith that if this person is truly for me, Allah will bring them back into my life somehow? Or does this attachment prevent me from moving forward and seeing other signs that Allah sends me? But what happens when, despite everything, this person continues to appear in your life unexpectedly? This is what we will see in the next part. When your heart feels peace, despite desire, it happens that even if you deeply desire a person, thinking about her not only brings you pain, but also a certain inner peace. It's strange, isn't it? You might expect intense desire to create frustration and emptiness, but sometimes it seems that your heart finds serenity, even in waiting. This could be a sign that this connection is not only emotional, but spiritual. When our heart feels peace despite desire, perhaps Allah has placed this person in our life to remind us His wisdom and His mercy. Tranquility in the Quran, Allah tells us in the Quran, and it is He who has put love and mercy between your hearts. Surah 30:21. The peace that invades you, even in distance or waiting, can be the fruit of the love and mercy of Allah. This means that this relationship, this attraction, is perhaps a divine blessing which helps you to remain patient, to exercise faith, and not to lose hope. When attachment becomes a blessing. Feeling this peace, despite hardship and distance, could indicate that this relationship is an opportunity for your soul to grow and get closer to Allah. You are not consumed by suffering or obsession. On the contrary, you find a certain tranquility, a feeling that everything is under control in the hands of Allah. More, how do we know if this desire is a divine sign or if this link distances us from Allah? This is what we will explore in the next part. If this desire takes you away from Allah or brings you closer to Him, when we feel a deep desire for a person, it can sometimes influence our connection with God. Is this desire bringing you closer to Allah? Or is it twisting your priorities and taking you away from Him? Does this desire make you forget your prayers? If you notice that this feeling distracts you to the point where you neglect your prayers, where your obligations to Allah become less important, this may be a sign that this desire is taking up too much space in your life. The Prophet said, "Whoever prefers prayer to anything else, Allah will give him peace and tranquility in his heart." Sahih Muslim 2825. On the contrary, if this desire pushes you to pray more, to seek guidance from Allah and get closer to Him, then this desire could be a blessing which helps you cultivate patience and faith. Are you clinging to this person more than you are clinging to Allah? Another important aspect to consider is the priority that you give to this person in relation to your relationship with Allah. If you realize that you put your hopes and happiness in this person,
This could be a sign that you have put this relationship above God. Allah must always be your priority, and your attachment to Him must surpass all other desires. The concept of tawakkul, need trust in Allah, is essential here. Tawakkul means do your best, but then put your trust in Allah, knowing that He knows what is best for you. It is possible that Allah will test you by placing you in a situation where you are tested by your desire, so that you can put your trust in Him and allow Him to guide your heart. Submission to divine will trust in Allah, even when your emotions are strong, allows you to live in peace, knowing that He knows what's best for you, even if it seems difficult to understand at the present moment. If letting go of this person seems impossible to you, then maybe this desire is here to teach you something deeper. This is what we will explore in the next part. When letting go seems impossible but necessary.
There are times when letting go becomes a test. Desire for someone holds a huge place in your heart. And even though you know it might be time to let go, it feels impossible. Letting go does not mean forgetting, but rather trust in the wisdom of Allah. Islam teaches us that everything that happens to us is part of the divine plan. And sometimes the greatest act of faith is to place yourself in the hands of Allah, even when it is difficult. Let go someone or something does not mean that you forget them or that you give up this connection. It simply means that you accept that if this person is written for you, Allah will bring them back to you one way or another. When holding on becomes too painful, when this relationship or this desire begins to harm you more than strengthen you, then perhaps it is time to surrender to the will of Allah. This is not a sign of weakness, but an act of deep trust in God. Allah knows better than us what is good for us. Dua for letting go. If you feel caught in this whirlwind of emotions, make this sincere dua, asking Allah to give you peace in your heart and guide your decisions. O Allah, if this person is good for me, then bring him closer to me, and if he is evil for me, remove him and keep me away from him. Decree for me what is best for my spiritual well-being and my inner peace. Give me the strength to accept your will. This supplication asks Allah to clarify your path and free yourself from the attachment that hurts you. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, will answer this prayer according to what is best for you. When letting go becomes an act of faith. Letting go is accept what you can't control and be certain that Allah will do what is best for you, even if it seems difficult to understand now. It is said in the Quran, the outcome of all things is up to Allah. Surah 3:154. So what is the final message? How can we find peace in the face of this intense desire? This is what we will discover in the next section. We explored together the 7 signs who can tell us if our desire for a person is a divine sign or a test of patience. We have seen that sometimes these desires are inscribed in our biological and spiritual nature, but that their true meaning can be a lesson of faith or a test of submission to the will of Allah. 1. Why do we want someone so deeply? Sometimes it's a deeper spiritual connection than we can understand. 2. Is this desire a sign or a test? Allah sometimes tests our faith through our attachments. 3. When our heart finds peace in this desire, is it a divine blessing? This peace can be a blessing from Allah. 4. When this desire takes us away from Allah, should we let go? Sometimes letting go is not forgetting, but trust in Allah. What if this person continues to appear in our life? Allah guides our paths in ways that we do not always understand. Allah knows how you feel. If this person is meant to be in your life, they will be. If not, Allah will fill your heart with something best. Trust His plan. Dua for clarity and patience. O Allah, guide my heart to what is best for me. If this person is part of my destiny, bring him closer to me. If not, keep him away and grant me the patience to accept your will. Fill my heart with peace and trust in your perfect plan. If this video touched you and helped you think, share it with those who need it. Have you ever felt this pain, this peace, or this desire for someone who seems to you written by Allah? Leave a comment below and share your experience.